Well, I sure would like a cigarette.
Well, why don't you bust out a Dawson?
A Dawson, that's right. Your favorite.
Dawson cigarettes. That's right, Dawson cigarettes. Nothing beats a Dawson except a possum.
I wish you would stop smoking them damn cigarettes.
Hey, your wife said stop smoking. Didn't you know these are health aware? The doctor prescribed me these. See, this is what happens when you let women poke and go to work and wear pants. They start going cuckoo-cuckoo.
That's right, Bon. You tell her. That's right, honey, you heard him. Hey, what's this?
I love my entrance music. My intro. I can't use it for anything else, though, because every time I listen to it, I think about the Late Show. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the BDRP Late Show. I'm your host, D. Doss. And we got a show for you tonight. It's based off of us just chopping it up offline and with a bunch of different people. And I just started talking about conspiracy theories. I think the one that got brought up that really made me want to do this show is and it's not even conspiracy theory, really. It's when Joan Rivers, what's her name? Joan Rivers?
Joan Rivers.
Yeah, Joan Rivers was, they were talking about, or they asked her the question of, when do you think we'll see the first LGBTQ president? And with that old lady cigarette, because you got that old lady that smokes too many cigarettes voice. We already got one with Obama. And she was, as you would say, crossing the river Styx the next day. I mean, that fast. She said that Michelle Obama was a trans person. And she said she wasn't being mean. She was just speaking matter of fact. And she was deader than shit the next day. So, somebody could say that's conspiracy theory, that's all coincidence. You know like I know, Steve-O. And welcome. Thank you for being the co-host tonight. You know, just like I do.
Necessary.
Yeah, exactly. You're part of the family. But, bro, there's no happenstance, chance, luck. All that stuff is hogwash. It's make-believe. It's what people convince themselves of because sometimes things get ooky spooky. But I'll tell you what, bro, there's a lot of conspiracy theories, quote unquote. And the term conspiracy theory came out the year that Kennedy was killed because there were some armchair detectives that were putting things together from the Kennedy assassination. And they needed something to cover it up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the CIA came out with the term conspiracy theory. Now anybody who's an abstract thinker who doesn't just go along with the spoon-fed nonsense that you see on CNBC, CBS, NBC, Fox, whoever doesn't, take that medicine that they try to feed us from there, is a conspiracy theorist. Not only do you have one theory, but you're now a theorist. Everything's you delve into the conspiracy theories. You're a madman now. And I don't think that's I don't think it's right. I don't think it's really cool. Because just like I do, you've been a part of this community for a good long while. There's a lot of bright, very, very bright extremely intellectual people that get into cryptids, that had experience with Bigfoot, Dogman, ghosts, goblins. They're not just all madmen. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody's crazy, unfortunately. I know a lot of people would like it to be that way, but it's not.
For that,
So,
what they call it, that spooky pasta, cryptid pasta?
creepy pasta,
Creepy
spooky
pasta,
pasta.
whatever they call it. You know, everybody ain't trying to do all that. Some folks just trying to tell what's really going on.
Yeah, exactly. And bro, the first conspiracy, the Bible speaks of a conspiracy. The kings of the earth have a conspiracy against our Lord. So, I mean, if they're talking about it in the Bible, you know what I'm saying? Like, who are we to cast people aside that have it's not even an abstract view. It's just not what's being spoon-fed to us by the fourth estate. And I really, I try not to become cynical. It's hard to become cynical and hard of heart when people start just subscribing to this madness. That, for instance, a big conspiracy theory, a modern one, 9/11. And I don't know how to tiptoe around things. I just talk straight. So I just talk straight
I'm
about
going to be quiet. I'm not going to say nothing.
Even though they're going to spank our hands. But I mean, bro, no, you're the co-host. You can't be quiet. But it's just it's too much nonsense going on with that for them to want, for the official synopsis of the whole thing to still be exactly what it was when it happened. I mean, you do realize that, right? Nothing's changed. Right. Like what happened to World Trade Center 7? It fell from the vibrations or something they were trying to say. Like there was no debris. There was no foundational weakness from the initial attacks on the. No, it wasn't 7. What was it? Yeah, it was World Trade Center 7, the one that was across the road. Okay, let's say I want to buy that. Let's say I'm an idiot. Let's say I'm very, very foolish and very naive. I'm going to buy that this building that was nowhere near the initial buildings that were attacked just had foundational weakness and it somehow imploded like a controlled demolition. Okay, I'll buy it. Why then did that British newscaster announce that it had failed 10 minutes before it actually did? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it all falls flat on its face because it's not truth. That's the crazy thing. And that's why I believe you can find lying on a ton of lists in the Bible of things that God hates. I mean, liars are on that ragtag list that appear in Revelations 21 that'll go to the pit. Because lying is a form of witchcraft. If you really think about it, what is witchcraft? It's taking what's natural and using some nefarious machinations to take God's work, the natural work that he's done, and pervert it and distort it and present it to somebody as something that it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what lies are. They're based in nothing at all except your imagination. You're misusing someone's trust. Is that thunder? I'll be doggone. Rain, blessed rain.
That's the
it's been so hot.
There.
Yeah, I mean, well, God talks in God speaks in thunder too. You know what I'm saying? I think that's him co-signing. But Daddy's like, hey, that's my boy in there. But anyways, that made me lose my train of thought, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. The adversary laws are witchcraft. Yeah, the laws being witchcraft. You're distorting and perverting by using someone's innate trust in you, and their trust in your word, and that you wouldn't lead them astray. You're misusing that. You're perverting and distorting their minds with something that's not based in reality. It's just based on what you want reality to be. So the distortion of reality is witchcraft in and of itself. And man, like, there's so many lies that surrounds that event. And falsehoods and misgivings. Another thing, when old GW was in that classroom, and a lot of people don't look at this. I'm an information hound. Sometimes maybe I see things where they don't exist. I'll be the first to admit that. But I'm a bulldog, so I'm gonna exacerbate the information until I get down to the bottom of the barrel. Then I'm gonna look at what I got, and I'm gonna choose from there. So when I look at these kids reading and chanting this mantra almost, I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna read it to you. This is what George W. Bush was. The kids were reading to him while he was being told that America's under attack. They're chanting this, and it was just strange. Mm-hmm. The way the teacher was getting them to chant it. Like, I think they were learning syllables or something. But you know, like, these people are into esoteric, Gnostic witchcraft. They're in the mystery schools. George W. Bush's granddaddy is Aleister Crowley, straight up. If you look at his ugly old mama and a picture, if you split Aleister Crowley's picture in half, his ugly old mama, push them together, and boy, howdy, do you have the same face. And she has traits that can only be passed down from a father. So, yeah, talk to the folks while I look this up real fast, bro. What do you got going on over there? You falling asleep on me?
Okay, while he doing that, all right, boys and girls, let's get out your calculators and your
shit, he's taking out a class.
Your thermometers.
I'm glad I'm looking up something.
All right.
Calculators and thermometers, she said.
All right, so now, because I was in, we're going to talk about that. So let's just say I know what the flashpoint is for JP5 and JP4. Does anybody in the chat room know what the flashpoint is for JP4? You can Google it. Tell me what it is.
Well, will you explain? Because I don't know what that is. I'm going to be the straw man. I don't know what that is. Can you explain, like,
JP5,
what that is?
JP5 jet fuel, and JP4 jet fuel, because the Navy uses JP5 jet fuel because it has a higher flash point, so it won't detonate. The Air Force and Army uses JP4 because that's for other reasons. Don't nobody too much care about them there, so they can blow. I mean, listen. So JP4 has a higher flash point than JP5. JP4 has a lower flash point. You can take a lit cigarette or a match, drop it into, because both of those are kerosene. You can throw a cigarette into JP5 and it will not ignite. But at JP4, you better not sneeze too hard. So let's see if anybody in the chat room can tell me what's the flash point between JP4 and JP5. Let's see if anybody.
Nobody.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you.
See, he's even asking, like, what does JP stand for? What does JP stand for?
Jet fuel. It's jet fuel. It's jet fuel. Jet fuel. But it's kerosene. Okay. JP5 has a flash point at 0 degrees Fahrenheit.
I did not know that. You got me. You got the hook in my lip, bro. I'm with you. Like,
okay, and then we're talking about JP4. You can snap your fingers, and JP4 is going to ignite. So you talking about you got a plane with 5,000 gallons of JP4, like Delta. All the airlines use JP4 because it's cheaper. Okay, JP4 has a flash point at 140 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's not going to ignite unless you get a certain temperature to go off. Okay. JP4 has 0 degrees Fahrenheit, so you can snap your finger and that shit blow up. I'm sorry, y'all. Excuse me. So
no, I'm with you. You're gonna lose me.
Okay. So you got this plane. It's holding 5,000 pounds of JP4. That's a 5,000 pound bomb. And when they flew those planes in holding 5,000 pounds of fuel each into the Twin Towers, I was just saying, when your boy President Bush was sitting there reading, "This is the song that never ends."
It just goes on and on.
My friend, he was reading lamb chops to him. With
the book upside down, bro. He's reading lamb chops.
With the book upside down.
How can I forget the name of the book? Speaking of the book, you remember the name of the book too, because we talked about it ad nauseum. It's My Pet Goat.
This is the song that never ends. So you got these planes flying in holding 5,000 pounds of JP4 that ignites at 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Boom! That is one heavy bomb. Of
Right.
course, they're going to collapse and fall. There's going to be a big explosion. That's like a baby. That's like a premium nuke. And then they got hit by
Yeah.
2, 3, 4. Some hit the
Well, let me
Martha's
ask you
Vineyard.
this: Is
Yes.
that hot? Would that get hot enough to melt steel?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll
That's
take. I
why.
mean, you know more about it than I do.
That's why they collapsed. But they also had. Now let's not get it twisted. Now, there was also well placed detonation bombs placed
Okay,
at the
that's
base to make
what I was waiting
it
for.
go down. Because anybody
Collapse
knows that
into itself.
right. It's just like a blue ferret bomb. The military got these bombs called blue ferrets. They fly your ass at Mach 2, speed of sound, drop this blue ferret, it's going to hit, it's going to explode and implode to lessen collateral damage. So we wanted to pay back so much money after the war. It's going to suck up everything around the area that needs to be sucked up in, and it's a done deal, done die. That's why people be like,
So I mean,
oh,
it was a flim flam. You know,
yeah,
the
it was a flim
planes
flam.
they hit and everybody's shocked from the planes. And there were multiple people that said that there were painters and workers going into parts of the building that were shut down for a while.
Right.
And yeah, they were placing these explosives. So, like you said, they can implode on themselves. Okay, so
Right.
My Pet
And
Goat was the
bring
name
it
of that
down
book.
and bring it down so smooth. They both came down so smooth and pretty. And
Yeah, it was it was controlled demolition all the way.
right, that's how it was. Controlled demolition. You had 2 planes or more, multiple planes. I'm not gonna say how many. What that had 5,000 pounds of JP4 fuel, which is at the top, plus the bottom controlled demolition, and then they just sucked down, and it was a calamity right there on the spot. It was panic,
Right.
and it was the birth.
Mayhem.
Yeah, it was mayhem, but in my opinion, it was the birth of sheeple.
It
Somebody
was,
help
and
me.
I don't know how they gauge this. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
No. You hit right on it. Go ahead.
No. I mean, you're absolutely right when you said that. It was the birth of the sheeple, and I remember watching. I think it was in 2008. I don't know how they gauged this, but it was supposed to be like I want to say consciousness, but I know that's wrong. But it gauged like people's reaction to it in that moment of time. And bro, like across the board, like everybody, like lost their minds. I could tell you straight up, bro. It made me want to pick up my rifle and go to war because I was in high school at that point in time, and I was all about it. Like I was the first DOS that didn't join any branch of the armed service, and when I saw that, I was like, okay, now it's my time. And my dad, God bless my dad's soul, he's up there in his mansion with my mom, and he probably talked to the good Lord about it. He's like, yeah, I stopped that boy from going into this war. But he sat down and told me, he's like, son, this isn't like your papa fighting the Nazis. This isn't when I was in the army. This is something different. This ain't your uncle's going to Vietnam even. Something else is going on. And I mean, that's all he said, but that was wisdom in and of itself. So what the book they were reading is called My Pet Goat. They actually have a weird, esoteric, wicked video that tells you, and they like symbolism. They tell you their plans in this video, and it's supposed to be put out by this artsy fartsy weirdo. But if you haven't seen it, open up another screen while you're listening and check, and just turn the volume down and watch this I Pet Goat, and look at the symbolism. It has Shiva towards the end of the video dancing the Nataraja, the dance of destruction that he's supposed to dance at the end of the end of the age, when he comes and destroys all that Brahma was Vishnu, he comes and destroys all that Brahma had created. Brahma creates, Vishnu maintains, and then Shiva comes and destroys that, and that's the cycle of that demonic pantheon, or not pantheon, but the wicked godhead, whatever they call it, the Hindus. But This My Pet Goat book these kids were reading. And it struck me as crazy at the time when I was listening to it, but they were chanting this mantra. Now this is right when he was told, George W. Bush was told that we were under attack. They were chanting kite, hit, steal, plane, must. Kite, hit, steal, plane, must. So the kite must hit. The kite plane must hit the steel. I mean, there's coincidence, then there's happenstance, and there's chance, then there's witchcraft, bro. And abracadabra, as I speak, I create. I don't think that was just a coincidence. Now, were those kids aware of what they were doing? No. Were those teachers even aware? I don't think so. They may have been, but I don't think so. But there was some hand. There was an invisible hand moving that day. And Revelations 9:11. You know, you remember, and I'm not putting you on the spot, do you remember what Revelations 9:11 is? They had an angel over them. They had a king over them that was the angel of the bottomless pit, who in Hebrew has his name Abaddon, but in the Greek hath his name Apollyon, the destroyer, Shiva, Apollo, the CERN Large Hadron Collider. What did India donate to that facility? Shiva dancing the Nataraja inside of that wheel of destruction. Bro, there's so much weird, esoteric, Gnostic madness taking place when you get up there in the upper echelons. And I mean, they know exactly what's going on. But the weird thing to me is they have to push it out in front of us. And that's a part of their witchcraft too. We can see it, and even if we don't understand it with our conscious mind, if we do not reject it outright, if we acquiesce to it, then that means we're coming into a silent agreement with it. That makes their magic that much more powerful. It's a wicked thing, bro. Like everything that they're putting their hands to and doing, it's perversions of the Bible. First off, because I mean, Revelations 9:11. Do you remember those faces that were in that in the smoke when those buildings went up? Oh, did I lose you?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah. I was what do you got going, bro? You messing with Tarzan?
No, I'm messing with folks in chat.
My nephew Tarzan. Yeah. Anyways, the people in the chat, leave them in their own devices. They'll be all right. I'm using my tablet, and the screen's so small, bro. Like, I can't even see them. God bless you for even being able to. Like, it just looks like a bunch of black.
I'm on the old laptop.
So you better watch it. Yeah, you better keep it on it because I can see their names because they're highlighted. But in any event, the long and short of it is that's one conspiracy theory that I'm surprised people are still like. I'm surprised I hadn't been to March on Washington, because the official story is some cockamamie madness. It really is.
It is.
Another one, the official story of the Kennedy assassination. People weren't buying that when it happened. I mean, you got the head of the CIA fired. You got Kennedy asking all sorts of questions that nobody wanted to answer. You have, and this is one thing that doesn't get thrown in with it, but I believe it coincides perfectly. You have Admiral Forrestal. The first was the Secretary of Defense. Admiral Forrestal was, he was a hero. 4-star general, or admiral, highly decorated. He is a part of Majestic 12. He's handpicked to be a part of Majestic. As a matter of fact, he was the head of Majestic 12, from my understanding of it. And Majestic 12 were private citizens, people that were part of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, former and current at that time, and just people with scientific minds, leaders, so on and so forth. Admiral Forrestal, Robert Forrestal, I believe his name was, he started getting kind of trepidatious about some of the information that he was coming across. And it wasn't his family that had him put in this nervous hospital. His fellow Joint Chiefs of Staff had him put in there for emotional problems, emotional distress, because of everything that he had learned about these UFOs and their occupants. Admiral Forrestal tried to commit, or he did commit suicide by jumping out of the 6th story of a hospital window. Now, this is a man who's highly decorated, a hero. Was handpicked to be the head of Majestic 12. This isn't a man who's going to off himself because I don't even see him as a man who's going to have emotional distress or emotional problems to the point where he's going to have to be committed. I think he was asking questions that nobody wanted to answer. And the powers that be went to the rest of the Majestic 12 and said, look, y'all going to have to do something with Forrestal or else. And they were like, what do you want us to do? You better figure it out. I don't know. You don't want us to get involved. So they go to him. They say, hey, look, you're asking some questions that nobody's comfortable answering, pal. Why don't we just go on ahead and, read the script and go on about our business and live our lives? He was like, damn that. And now this is what I imagine took place. And they went back and told him, Vandebar Bush. Remember that name? Vandebar Bush was a part. Now, I can't find any links between Vandebar Bush, the admiral, and the Bush family. But it's not a very common last name, is it? Bush? I never went to school with any Bushes. And especially in the upper echelons of government, public office, and things of that nature. I don't know. But in any event, I think he went to the members of Majestic 12 and was like, look, these things ain't what we thought they were. They're interdimensional. They're not coming from Neptune, which I believe at the time, weren't they still talking about they're coming from Neptune, or had they switched to Zeta Reticuli? No, when the Barney and, is it Barney and Betty Hill?
You were way back on that one.
Yeah, Barney and Betty Hill, they were the first people, which I believe this was a psyop. Barney and Betty Hill were the first people to ever be interviewed fully, and it being a large spread publication about being kidnapped. I don't believe in that UFO terminology. They were kidnapped. And I believe it was a controlled experiment. First, they picked Canadians. Second, they picked a multiracial or interracial couple. So people are going to see that. They're going to see, oh, well, this couple said that they were taken up by this spaceship and they were showing all this technology and blah, 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 blah. But they didn't. They wanted to give you a little bit of sugar with the medicine. They say, okay, well, this is an interracial couple. You know what I'm saying? They're from Canada. Don't worry about it too much. But look at what they're talking about. So I mean, it's very, very, very nefarious, but it's very smart. And honestly, bro, if I was in the position back then to cover this stuff up, that's what I would do. We got segregation going on. I mean, the half of the country doesn't really have anything to do with the other half outside of, brief acquaintances or maybe you live by some black folks if you live in the country. Definitely not in the city because everything was sectioned off. Let's have this not only interracial couple that a lot of people are going to snub their nose to or flat out ignore, but let's make them Canadians on top of that. And let's feed this information through them and see how the public takes it. Then after that, let's get, Ma and Pa Baker and see what they feel about that. And then let's get some crop circles going. Then we start talking about cattle mutilations, and then it's out in the public forum. Now it's a part of our conversation. Now they can do what they did this past year, where Congress is talking about ancient technology from the occupants of these UFOs. I mean, folks, like, am I the only one that sees it, Steve-O? That there's an absolute plan in place?
Oh, right about now, I want to say, no, you're not, but right about now, I'm not going to say that.
Are more people's eyes being open to it, you think? Like more of John Q. Public?
I'm going to say, but in my personal opinion, I'm going to say maybe 40% of people's eyes are open.
You think so? I mean, that's probably up from what it was 5 years ago, honestly.
I'm going to keep it low, 40%, because right now I don't know.
People are dealing with more stuff. They're dealing with stuff that's tangible in their everyday life, too. They ain't worried about
they're dealing with more stuff that's tangible to them that they never knew that was tangible to them before in their lives. And they weren't accounted for what was tangible in their lives because of the way that's the way that they voted.
Yeah.
Because back then
it's all intertwined.
Right, because back then, you had the boomers, which people don't understand. Boomers, and God rest my grandmother's soul. I love my grandma, but my grandma was a boomer, and she was
Right.
a loyal voter. Me, I'm gonna vote for the lesser two evil. I'm a Republican, but I'm gonna vote for the lesser two evil. That's going to benefit me and my family. And people understand that when they vote, it starts from the county, the city, county, state, lastly
Yes.
up to the
You got
presidency.
to get involved locally. Yeah.
Right. If you're not involved in locally, you talking about, well, the president, he ain't. Well, of course, he might not be there, but you didn't start at home. You got to clean your house up before you start trying to whoop bedding and bonding rubber down the street. Because,
Yeah.
because your house ain't clean. You can't go down the street calling them nasty. You still nasty. You ain't cleaned your house up yet. You guys start at home before you move out, move forward. That's what a lot of people don't
Yeah.
understand because a lot of people are like, I voted for the president. Did you vote for your sheriff, for your county, for your school board? Mm-mm. Why not?
No, they couldn't tell you who they couldn't tell you who the school superintendent was probably. But bro,
Right.
see, I had older parents. Like I think my parents and your parents probably
Mm-hmm.
were around the same age. They gone on to be with the Lord. But my
Mm-hmm.
parents were boomers. And you got yellow dog Democrats and copperhead Republicans.
Right.
Rather
And my
get bit by
grandma
a
took
copperhead than
me.
vote for a Democrat, and rather vote for a
Right.
yellow dog than vote. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
they
And they took you to
did
go
that party
vote with them.
politics. Yes.
And they
And
put you in the news, gave you a little newspaper for you to read, and they took you to the polls. They put a little sheet around you to go vote. They had you involved. We don't do that no more. Well, I do with my
and
son.
bro, I remember doing that. Like
Hmm.
when Clinton and Gore were running against Papa Bush. And I was the only kid. Like they came to the executive airport, and the vice president, what's his face? I forget his name. Bush's vice president. His wife was there, and I mean, like, it was crazy. It was, and I remember like me and this girl named Kayla Walker. Were the only black kids there. We went to Christian school. We're the only black kids there. We're the only ones holding these signs. And me being, the world's greatest detective, even at that young, tender age, I looked at our signs, then I looked at everybody else's signs, and I was like, huh. Well, that's odd. And I remember, like, I seen a sign on the floor that was for Bush and what was that dude's name? Quayle? I want to say Dan Quayle. That sounds right.
Dan Quayle.
Anyways, it was Dan Quayle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was pretty jabroni, so I'd probably deleted that information as not relevant. But in any event, I remember seeing one of those signs on the ground. I was like, I know how to go with the flow, so I'm gonna. And I tried to give her I tried to rip it in half and give it to her. I would say, Kayla, here, you can have half of this, because see, like on the back, it's the same thing. And she's like, no, our parents gave us these signs. We should hold them. I'm like, I'm holding mine. I'm just holding it down here by my legs, and I'm holding this one up. But in any event, that's that party politics, bro. That's what our parents grew up on. And I don't think they really understood, like, bro, I remember talking to my dad before he passed away. Like, because I was really curious who he was wanting to vote for. And he was like, I'm not going to vote for old Sanders. He's too old. I'm like, well, I mean, you ain't got very much to choose from, Dad. And he was like, I might vote for Hillary. I was like, are you kidding me? He's like, well, I ain't got a choice. I'm like, Dad, are you serious? You don't have a choice. But see, he comes from that era. Like,
Right.
You got to
Like
think.
the boomer era. Yeah, the boomer
Johnson's.
era. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
The
then my
only
grandma would
white
have been
person
alive.
in my
She would have
grandparents'
voted.
house.
She'd have voted for Hillary.
That's madness. Hillary's
Right.
a rank devil, dude.
Right. But the boomers was programmed to vote for them kind of people. To keep it loyal.
And that's the word, program.
We're
And I mean,
not
Hillary
loyal.
Clinton is as no.
As rank as it
I'm
gets.
loyal. I'm only loyal to one man. Yeah, there's one man that I'm loyal to. I'm an absolute monarchist. I believe that there should be one king. His name is the Lord Jesus Christ, and he's going to rule with a rod of iron. And I'm going to be glad of it. I'm going to be laughing about it. But
And I'm gonna vote for who's gonna serve me and my son and my people as best as they can to their so-called allegedly ability.
And see, Dad wouldn't really. He wouldn't. I couldn't explain to him how, like, liberals aren't liberals anymore. Democrats aren't Democrats anymore. It's not like it was. And what I was saying is the only, and I was wondering if it was like this at your grandma's house or your parents.
You try to get your
The
ears
only
boxed.
white person. Yeah, especially if you're talking against Democrats. But the only picture of a white man that hung on my grandparents. This is my dad's parents, which I think my granddad was like almost 90-something years old when he died. He died before I was even a teenager. So it tells you how old he was. But the only white man's picture that hung in their house in Hobart, Oklahoma, cotton fields, was President Johnson. Because President Johnson was the one who signed all the busing rights and the Civil Rights Act. I mean, his picture hung up there with the families. I remember seeing him because my dad's dad was half white, and I just figured he was kin to us when I was a little kid. I was like, I wonder who that guy is. It was like an uncle
don't
or
feel
something.
bad. I thought the same thing too. I like, is that one of my great cousins' son?
Yeah. Now I guess that was like they'd say it in whispered voices. The Doss name came from, I believe it was Scotland. But I seen a picture of it, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, you're a white guy." And he came from that era when he kind of looked at me and muttered around. But anyways, that's neither here nor there, bro. The liberals that were liberals back in the '60s, those were the true liberals. They had their heart. A lot of them, not all, because that's where it started. A lot of them had their heart and their hat set towards making change for the poor and the downtrodden in a serious way. You got Hillary Clinton, bro. Hillary Clinton's hero was Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger gave speeches to the Ku Klux Klan. She was into that, what do you call it? Darwin's cousin came up with it, really, where they would basically make poor people, and it wasn't just black folks. They hated poor people just as much as they hated black folks. Where they would study the knots on the head and all that weird shit.
Right.
Eugenics. Darwin's cousin created eugenics, and she was the biggest proponent of it.
And see, you just went to a whole nother level of a conversation where people don't understand the difference between hatred between poor people. It's not just black people. Like you said, it's not just black people. There's a whole step of poor people that rich people do not like. But they will tolerate.
Hey, look, there's our brother. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, Red Pill Preacher. I should have... Red Pill Preacher.
Hello.
What's going on, brother? We got Woodburger Farm in there, too, an old schooler.
Yeah, he
Woodburger Farm. As always. The great Robert Clark. Chris Beard. Louisiana Crawfish. We got A&B Automotive in there. I want to give him a plug. Louisiana Crawfish.
Out there, I got 2 cars for you to detail for me.
Yeah, we also have Peter Birdsall. Of course, the great GRP, Truth in Christ.
Brother, do you know him? The Peter Bills swapping?
Birdsall?
Yeah.
Yeah, Peter Birdsall comes in. He's a great guy.
Okay. I was about to put
Miss Squiffy Bear.
Them bone Zakra on him. Squishy Bear. Hey, it's Squishy.
Squiffy.
Squishy.
She's from jolly old England, don't you know? And of course, the field marshal himself, the Air Marshal Montgomery in the spirit world for the blue team, the great Tom Jakowski. I don't think I missed anyone. Swamp Life Paranormal. I did miss someone. I apologize. They're wide open tonight. Awesome. I love it.
A and B. I got a 2002 Mustang. I need that thing to shine.
Was A and B in there?
Yeah, he just popped up again.
See, I'll tell you what. A&B Automotive, ladies and gentlemen, if you're getting your car detailed by anyone else, anywhere else, you need to be loading a bull's ass and shit in the river because you're just doing the wrong thing. You got to take it to A&B Automotive Detail if you want a good job done. I'm telling you what I know. That's A&B Automotive Detail in South Carolina, I think, or Tennessee. I'm gonna actually make a real. I'm gonna make a real commercial for this man. It's gonna be awesome.
A&B,
I'm not gonna
cut A&B. Can A&B get some Dawsons in there?
And for every car that goes to A&B Automotive, You get a free pack of Dawson's. That's right. Dr. Approved Dawson cigarettes. After a cold, hard day at the mill or out there in the oil field, you want to sit down and watch a ball game. You're going to get a cold beer and reach for a pack of Dawson's. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Dawson cigarettes. Sold at your local pharmacy or grocery store. I would have got along just fine as an announcer back in the 50s. They probably would have gave me work because they, old black things out of the way. But anyways, what's another conspiracy theory? We dipped our toes into some waters. Dead air.
Oh,
Dead
no,
air.
he's in Knoxville. Hey, A and B, get in touch with
I
D.
said Tennessee.
My brother. Yeah, my brother's in Knoxville. He need his F-150 done up real good. I'm gonna send him to you.
See there? There you go.
And
I think we
family
got some people in Tennessee.
and
We're
they
gonna send them all
family got bread. All of them. You might know. But
Got
seriously,
enough bread to choke a dozen donkeys.
Shoot, yeah. So get in touch
I'll
with
tell you
D
what, this is
for-
a new conspiracy. Yeah, get in touch with me. You got my email.
Yeah.
And for all who want to email me, it's oklahomados@gmail.com. Oklahomados, OKLAHOMADOSS
I'm saying it's
@gmail.com. If
A&B.
you'd like to be a guest on the show.
I'm saying it's A and B.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna send a whole family to you because they one of them deep Knoxville families. They big, and if they go T, they're gonna bring
That
the whole
old
family
Knoxville
to
money?
you.
They got that old Knoxville money?
Yes, they do.
I'll be doggone. I'll tell you what, a conspiracy theory that I'm going to start, and you heard it here tonight. What is this? At 9:44, Wednesday, June the 26th, in the year of our Lord, 2024. You heard it here first. The Baron's telling you that little girl from over there where the Vikings came from, I don't know whether it's Sweden, Switzerland, Iceland, I don't know where she came from, but she's aggravating. Olga. What's this little girl's name who's always crying and carrying on about the environment? Come on, now, you know what I'm talking about. She looks like she hates humanity. She's got a look of hate on her face for humanity.
Karen?
No, not Karen. Who's Karen? No, not Karen. She's a Karen, but she's not named Karen. Greta. Thank you. I knew it was one of those old names. Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg is a clone of Adolf Hitler. And I'm going to tell you why. Number one, she looks like him. Looks just like him. Put their pictures down. She's either a clone or... No, I'm not even going to go to the great, whatever. Greta Thunberg is a clone of Adolf Hitler. She hates humanity. There's one. She loves nature. I don't know if any of you know this, but Greta is in love with nature. If you know who Greta Thunberg is, you know that. Adolf Hitler once, and this is I think a rumor, but I'm gonna say it anyways. He once killed his dog groomers because one of them clipped the nails too deep or something of one of his German shepherds, and he killed somebody else's German shepherds instead of his own when they went into that bunker. When they took the poison and gave his probably another clone, but a body double or whatever. Because he didn't die in that bunker. You kidding me? He sent children out to the front line to die to protect him. It's one of the sickest pieces of footage from World War II you'll ever want to see. It's Adolf Hitler talking to this Nazi youth. Some of them look like they're 11 and 12 years old. He's pinching them on the cheeks and patting them on the head and telling them, great job, kids, blah, 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 blah. Now I'm going to go get in this submarine and go to South America while you die. Somebody who would send children to the front line isn't going to go down in some hidey hole and wait for the Russians to come and rend them. No. That man's alive, or he was alive, past World War II. There's allegedly pictures of them at, was it Queen Elizabeth's wedding? At one of the royal family's wedding. And the royal family in totality, all of them, went to his funeral, allegedly, down in South America. There's pictures of them in this village where there's a lot of German architecture. They went to somebody's funeral that was from German ancestry.
Whole bunch of blondes.
And that's exactly right, Woodbooger Farm. They were kinfolk. That's why the dude that was supposed to be king had to step out of the way. They say it's because he married that American actress. But that was on the surface. That was for John Q. Public. It was really because he couldn't keep his ass out of Berlin from wearing Nazi uniforms and marching with Hitler. And they were like, and his daddy, the actual king was like, hey, boy, what you got going? You know, we're about to be at war with these guys, right? And he was like, no, we don't need to be at war with them. We have the same interests. He's like, yeah, you're done. Get your stuttering and muttering brother up to bat.
Yes, but
that's how we got Elizabeth's daddy, because he was lost in the sauce. The Coburn-Saxe-Gotha. They aren't of the bloodline of King Henry VIII. What was their name? The Tudors. They're usurpers. So, that's an interesting fact. But going back to Greta, there was a man named Joseph Mengele. Joseph Mengele was a really, really smart guy. Joseph Mengele did something that he called twinning. Now, if you go on the FBI Black Vault, you'll see that his twinning project was a success. He would take these Jewish children and Jewish adults that were twins, put one in one building and the other one in another one, torture to death one, and have the other one observed to see if they reacted to it. Twinning is cloning. So we have clones. And again, this is if you go and read that document, take twinning out of the equation, implant cloning. Joseph Mengele successfully was cloning people, cloning embryos. Those Nazi baby factories over there, you really thought they got like fertile young German women and these strong, strapping young German men and put them in these factories? No. It was just that. They were baby factories. The same thing that they're talking about building today with the help of CRISPR-Cas9. And it's awful funny, and I can show you the clip. I think I've shown it a couple of times before. The woman who spearheaded the project, who came up with CRISPR-Cas9, guess who came to her in a dream when she came up with the idea? Adolf Hitler. See, it's all this reciprocal, symbiotic, wicked relationship that these monsters have with each other. But yeah, the twinning thing. So we got twinning. That's established. Clones are real. Mm-hmm. They've been around since Joseph Mengele.
Right.
I think Joseph Mengele took some extra hateful juice and mixed it in with the some Adolf Hitler genes, and said, "Yeah, this time let's see what a female will do. We've been cloning these males. Let's make her a female." And he probably put her in the refrigerator and forgot about her, but behind some pickles or something. And then one of his rank devil grandkids said, "Hey, what's this? This don't taste like pickles," and probably took it to some university. I'm sorry, I cracked myself up. Anyways, probably took it to some university and said, "Ew, yuck! These aren't pickles at all."
This ain't lemon lime.
I think I'll name it Greta.
Greta.
Yeah.
Because when you say Greta, you be like, ew. Because they take something like, ew, Greta.
That woman has such a hateful, when she was giving that speech, I should be on the other side of the world going to school. Bro, they were clapping for her. She was at the UN. Mind you. She was speaking this into a crowd of people that appreciated her. The look on her face, bro, she had pure hatred in her eyes, and they were clapping for her. They were giving her standing ovations, and when she looked over that paper in just disgust and disdain. The next World War has her name all over it, bro.
Mm-hmm. For people who don't understand, that come from our generation, when you drink, if you go back to the 80s and 70s, you drank some lemon lime Gatorade, and you be like, ew, that's what you get when you think of Greta. Back when it was in the
lemon lime Gatorade's like a fine wine compared to Greta. Yeah, bro, she's so hateful. She's got it emanating off of her, and she stares at people I'm telling you, if she had her choice, every Mad Jack one of us would be going across the river Styx.
Right, you're just filth. You're infidel.
Yeah. I don't even know what word she has for us. She probably calls us the Goyim.
Ugh.
But bro, she's fallen out of favor with the wicked elite because she's got that Hitler juice going. She's talking about Israel in a not flattering type way, and I guess those Hitler genes just kind of sparked up in her. And all those European heads of state were like, "What the hell is wrong with you? No. We're supposed to hate everybody that's poor and weak and of color. We're not supposed to, hate. Calm down. X-nay on the Israelite aid.
We gotta get some likes on the social media aid.
Yeah.
Get some
What are you
more
doing,
money coming in that
Greta?
way.
Get your shit together, Greta.
Yeah. You saw what happened to Trump.
They've had to
We can
pull
do
her
it
to the
you
side.
too.
Yeah. We'll turn and rend you next, Greta. You better calm down.
Yeah. I love Trump, but he like one of us, so he gonna call like he's seen it. And Greta, keep doing what you're doing. Good job. So
she's a rank devil, bro. Let's call
space. Yeah, they're gonna rend her ass.
And she tries to hold us to account for polluting the world. But I mean, when's the last time you've seen her go over there to China, where they're literally wearing masks the year round, and there's a constant brown in the air when you get into their the biggest cities they have over there.
Okay, and they've been wearing masks. And they've been wearing masks since Godzilla movies. Come on now, black and white Godzilla movies.
Yeah, because they don't want to breathe in that smoke.
Right, it ain't nothing new. They've been wearing masks since you were watching Godzilla movies.
She's not over there picketing and saying, "How dare you!" That girl's an idiot.
A little game smoke, yeah.
So there's the new conspiracy theory. You heard it here, folks.
Hey, but to piggyback on this conspiracy theory, if you don't believe me, come on down to good old Peachtree City, Georgia. We got them twins. They have set up shop right here in Peachtree City, Georgia. You can see them at your local. I told you about them folks, them twins and them.
Oh yeah. You took me 2 times hearing it because I thought like you were talking about some sort of a cryptid.
No,
people.
But you know how you said, we don't want to talk about the other stuff. But you know how you said. But they're here. They're right here. You can see them right here in the good old Publix, at Thomas Crossroads Publix, at the Kroger's, at the Shaw's Burger.
What are you talking about?
Them twins, them German blondes, them twins.
Oh, for real?
Well, yeah,
like some of them came to Nantucket Island and Massachusetts. Like, so, yeah, I can believe that. I mean, something's going on, bro. Nobody can deny something's going on.
Because remember, I told you, how the pilots, if you don't believe me, look it up. The pilots that hit the Twin Towers was trained at the Peachtree City, Georgia airport. That's where they were trained at.
That's right, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that now.
Right here where I live at, so they were trained right here, and I'm sorry, I don't want to do this to you. Do you want me to talk about the Asians that's getting trained down here too? I know how they get
the other aliens. Yeah, yanks my chain, pisses me off.
Yeah.
You're talking about the force that's been under our noses this whole time?
No, I'm talking about how they got them Asian groups down here getting trained at the airport also.
I thought you said aliens. Yeah, talk about it. I mean, that's technically, yes, the Asians. Yeah, that's technically a conspiracy theory. Well, let's not call them Asians. Let's call them, specifically what they are. They're Chinese.
What are they?
Because I don't, Asia's pretty big.
Yeah.
China's big. Yeah. So, yes, because I think a lot of them, all right, folks, what he's talking about, and I'm wondering if any of you have seen this. This is a conspiracy theory that's modern. A lot of people have said that they've seen Chinese soldiers that have moved into their neighborhoods or moved into newly built subdivisions, and they're running around with their uniforms on and rifles. And they're going through what do you call it? Close quarters combat and hand-to-hand combat in neighborhoods and stuff.
Getting trained at your local small airports to fly airplanes.
If you hadn't have told me this, and there's one more person that told me, I would have said that the people were drunk. That wasn't true. But that just sounds crazy. But,
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about?
Yank your chain. You were like, what?
Yeah, yank my chain. Pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie, folks. I'll give you some little bit of backstage stuff. When I heard this, I was mad about it, but it did jog my memory there was a lot of busts. We have medicinal marijuana here in Oklahoma, and there was a lot of this. Was the Wild West for a handful of years. It wasn't regulated really, and right before it became regulated, there was a countywide bust. My county, there was a countywide bust here, and it spilled over into some more counties. But I think it was like 8 illegal grows were hit simultaneously. $7 million in cash. I forget how many hundreds of tons of illegal marijuana. And guess what the nationality was of all the people at these illegal grows? They were Vietnamese. Now, we don't have a large Vietnamese I mean, this is southern Oklahoma. There's only, I think, 3 million people, maybe throughout the entirety of the state. And it's a big state. So I found that just to be strange that it was Vietnamese people, but who's been putting the whip on them for a very long time? So when I heard about these Chinese soldiers up here training on American streets, and then I know for an unequivocal fact, because I read it I picked up the newspaper. I have friends that are part of law enforcement.
A newspaper? What is that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm old school though. You know, I went to school for journalism, and I have the heart of an old school journalist. I should have the heart of William Randolph Hearst, and then maybe I'd have some juice. William Randolph Hearst, bro. I don't know about biblical scholar. I know the book and I love it, but William Randolph Hearst had so much juice, bro. He was like, oh well, black people are taking this cannabis and they're laying harm to white women, and people are like, oh no, we can't have that. And he's like, yeah, you're darn right you can't have that. We have to make cannabis illegal. And he's telling his friend, little do they know I use paper pulp. It's more expensive, but I use it all the same. Now cannabis is going to go the way of all flesh. And what did cannabis do? They were making, there was a plastic that was more efficient and biodegradable that was made from cannabis. Clothes, just name it, bro. Name it. And it was made from cannabis. Cannabis is the wonder plant. But he wrapped cannabis up with marijuana and presented it to John Q. white folk public back then. And not all. I mean, I'm pretty sure country folks were like, throw that newspaper in the trash can. That's a bunch of hogwash. But everybody up north was like, oh my, we have to do away with this cannabis. We can't have this. And hence, paper pulp became what we printed newspapers on, and cannabis became illegal in all its aspects. One man, William Randolph Hearst, and he laughed all the way to the bank.
Yep.
I mean, in a way, he's a scumbag, but he's a super savage in a way, bro.
Yeah, because he killed a major cash crop.
He had to, because, I mean, he was like, I'm using this paper pulp. Nobody wants paper pulp. It's expensive, and everybody's using cannabis. It's cheaper. Nobody's buying my paper. I got an idea. And then you see that reefer. Have you ever watched Reefer Madness? I know you have. Mm-hmm. You know they were playing that in high school, like up with when my sister is closest to me, I think is 50-something, early 50s, if not right at 50. She said she remembers watching that when she was in high school. 50 years ain't a long time. Well, that's not even 50 years ago.
I got what
That's madness, bro.
You remember Back to the Future when
Oh, do I remember it?
Yeah, he was like
one of my favorite movies.
He was like, "Oh God, I gotta get the band playing." They were like, "Oh God,
yeah. What are you coons up to? Oh, we don't want any problem with any reefer heads, man. Reefer heads. Hey, they weren't afraid of them because they called them, they say, what these coons doing? Yeah. You calling coon, Peckerwood? Hey, we don't want any problem with any reefer heads, man.
Back up, reefer.
When they see they're on that reefer, that's when their tune changed.
And they ran.
Bro, did people really think that folks smoking weed back then were like madmen? That's crazy to me. They showed the dude like playing the piano, going bananas, eyes bugging out of his head. Looked like he was getting demonized with every strike of a key. Then the woman jumped out of the window for some reason. Do you remember that lady jumped out of the? She was like, I guess she smoked too much pot and like, she's like, I'm getting off this merry-go-round, and she jumped out of the window.
No, that was beginning of being the pot being laced. She had a geek joke.
Yeah, Woodbooger Farm said it. Our country was founded on cannabis. President Washington was a cannabis farmer.
Yeah, President Washington wore cannabis clothing. His clothing was made out of cannabis. Thanks to Benjamin Franklin, which was, we ain't gonna talk about him, but he was a whole nother bear.
I think we should get into that. There's conspiracy theories. I mean, all right, like I've talked to people on both sides of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, and I looked at this, and you know, I'm a pit bull when it comes to information. He did live with a surgeon over there in France, which that brings a bunch of questions up in and of itself. Like, the man was married. Okay. What's he doing in France? You know, shacking up with this surgeon who's messing around with dead bodies. But anyways, they say that even though that man was a surgeon, and the way that they would, you know, use bodies and whatnot, that it was an abnormal amount of children.
We're talking Benjamin Franklin now?
Yeah, and it's a house in France. They excavated it. And there was a shitload of bones, like children's bones. Yeah, I think it's Jack the Ripper, bro.
Okay, and his house in the United States of America, where he was at over here in Philly. They found so many bones and skeletons, they just gave up. Like, you know what? Forget it.
In France and Philadelphia?
Yeah, they just said, forget it. Forget it.
Well, that's crazy, bro. And he had a litany of kids with prostitutes. Like, he had a plethora of children with prostitutes.
Of course he did. He met with the Hellfire Club recipients.
He did. How
many people know what the Hellfire Club is? I'm out the chat. I'm not even going to look at the chat no more.
Good. Now you're learning, Jedi.
Yeah. Hey, the Hellfire Club was a monster. Them people still trying to do seances, trying to find lost spirits and stuff. And what you said about trying to find a lost spirit, how you gonna find what you don't know what it is?
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna use for evidence to look for this lost spirit? You know what I'm saying? Like, people are so stupid. I'm sorry, folks. That was a little crass of me. I didn't mean to say people are so stupid. I meant to say they're so
indignant,
stupid.
Stupid.
No, I mean indignant. I mean it's stupidity. Oh, we have to help them cross over. They've become lost. They're a lost soul. They don't know how to get to the other side because they died with hate in their heart and they were murdered and blah blah blah. Come off it. You don't know what you're talking. You're freestyling. You don't know what happened to that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? I wish I had that in me to do. My eyes roll in the back of my head and say, "Oh, it's your grandfather. He said that you lost his pocket watch."
Find my pocket watch. I lost it at the pawn shop on 50 years ago.
It's worth $13. God, people are ridiculous, bro. Like, and they say, "Oh yeah, that's your grandmother and your grandfather throwing teacups at each other out of the cabinets while you're trying to sleep." Because they did that in life, right? Wasn't that something they would like to do as a gag? No, not really. Well, that's what they do now.
Because they mad because you lost that $13 pocket watch. That's about 100 feet deep in a damn landfill. These people,
I can't fathom sitting down at a seance. I never had a desire to. Grew up in the Bible-believing, Holy Spirit-filled family. So I knew what the score was. You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't imagine sitting in the midst of that. And some guy come out with a turban like Haji from Johnny Quest, and his eyes roll in the back of his head, and he's got like, you know,
zim zalabim,
zim zalabim, and all of a sudden, you know, somebody is shaking like one of those old blinds, you know, they're real thick and they sound like thunder. It's silly to me. It's silly madness. If they really want, I mean, folks, I'm gonna tell you something that I probably shouldn't. If you really want to go mess with spirits, get you a Ouija board and go to your local cemetery. If you're gonna mess with devils, mess with devils. Don't play around with these con men. No, I'm just kidding, folks. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. But I'm just saying. I mean, there's these con men that ain't talking to nobody except themselves. They're good actors though. And then the people help them. They're like, I'm hearing the name Tim, Tom, Tammy. I had a brother named Tim. Tim was his name. That's right. Yes, and he says that he read comic books. I mean, watched TV, video games. Yeah, we played video games video games. He said.
Yeah,
I mean, they're leading them.
2600.
It's ridiculous, bro. It infuriates me more than Greta. I don't know what makes me more upset though, that people like put their hands to it, to want to go to these soothsayers and these gypsies and all this kind of stuff to like say, oh, I want to talk to my mom, even though she's been dead for 20 years, or that these so-called soothsayers, and some of them are soothsayers. Let's not get it twisted. I'm not trying to put a light. I mean, some of them are talking to familiar spirits, straight up. I'll tell y'all a story. Story time. I don't think I've ever told you this one, Steve-O.
Let's see.
I don't know what that sounded British at the very end of it.
Because
I don't know if I told you this one, Steve-O. All right, check it out. This is when do what? Anyway, this is when the narrators were still on the channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
After Cryptid Files, I would put my award-winning Werner Herzog like videos together for these narrators and whatnot, and it was a good, beautiful, reciprocal relationship. And a lot of them, like Vidith22. Vidith22 had like 200 subscribers when he came on the channel. I think he's like at 100,000 now. Great guy. But it was, and there were a lot of drunks too for some reason. But that's neither here nor there. It was after a show. We had a great show with a lovely creepy kitten, and we had a couple more. I think the Gothic Librarian was her name, and 2 or 3 more people. Robbie Swamp Brother was on there.
That's a throwback.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Throwback City. Then the Hitchhiker, I believe he called himself. There was a handful of us on this stream, and it was, as tradition, after the stream we would kind of hang out, and by way of South Dakota, Undaba, Miss Tika Palmer Skinner. Can I name a character after you in one of my stories? Because that name's just phenomenal. Tika Palmer Skinner. It just rolls off the tongue, don't it? Tika Palmer Skinner. I'm dead serious too.
Hey,
when I saw that name, I was like, that has to be a character. It has like personality. Anyways, so we're hanging out backstage after the show. We've done it before, and during the show though, there was this lady. She was a psychologist, and she said, and this is the younger D, still on fire and everything, but I was a little bit more brash than I am now. Especially when it came to matters of a spiritual nature. And so this lady was a psychologist. I think that was somewhere in her name. And she said that she wanted to read my cards. And I didn't know what she was talking about at first. And I kind of asked her in the chat as I was, going on with the show. And she said, I want to read your she didn't call them tarot. She said something else. And I was like, yeah, you can shake the table under with your legs and whatnot, and pretend like it's some real ooky spooky stuff. Yeah, I'll go through those that nonsense with you, bro. I forgot about it, and she sent me an email, so I brought her on with everybody. You know what I'm saying? And she said she got on there and said, I don't know, because I had it in my mind. It was arrogance on my part. I knew some of it was real, but I don't know why I was doing it. But she was like, "Are you sure you want all these people here?" While I read your cards, usually it's a personal thing. I was like, I don't care. And she said something extremely intimate and personal that no one would know outside of my family. And that's all I could say about that. And I was, you know me, I don't get shocked. I think that mechanism is broke or faulty in me. I don't really get shocked or frightened by anything. But this did both. I was like, everybody on this stream. Everybody on this call, drop off immediately. Said it just like that. And then when they got off, I was like, what the hell what kind of shit you got going on, lady? And she said, I mean, bro, like I was tripped. It was, thank you, Miss Tika Palmer Skinner. Tika Palmer Skinner is going to be in the Cryptid Hunter, bro. I think I got a roll. But anyways. I was shocked, and I just figured like maybe, my mind immediately went to, okay, she looked me up somewhere. She got a hold of some kinfolks or whatever. But the next thing she said was even more shocking and accurate. It wasn't some of this like kind of dipping our toes into the waters of possibility. It was picture perfect, accurate to the situation that I was in, to the everything about it. And I marveled. I'm not gonna lie to you. But great to see you too, Katie Seal. When I brother, let me tell you something. When I jumped off there, Daddy got the switch out, and he took me to that Bible. He's like, bro, he didn't say, bro, son, do you know what you just did? Oh, I put my hands to witchcraft and necromancy. So I got on my face immediately and repented from it. But that was my one experience with it. So if it seems like I'm making fun of it and acting like it's not a real thing, trust and believe Baron knows it's real. But what they're doing is talking to familiar spirits. Spirits watch us on the other side of the veil, in that invisible world. I may tell you something that you don't know, or maybe you don't know. I don't know. But all spirits, even wicked spirits, don't have bifurcated tails, red skin, horns, a hay fork, and a serpent's tongue, and cat eyes. That's not what most of them, I don't think, look that way. Folks, let me tell you something. If they all looked like that and they all gave you the cold chills when they walked into a room, they would be completely non-efficient at their job. They've been going about this a long time, and guess what? They're smarter than me and you. The only defense you have against them is the Holy Spirit. In Him we live and breathe and have our being, and that's our defense. And the Holy Spirit will fight them on our behalf. He who dwells in us. But we have to be pointed. We have to be sincere and intentional with our prayer life and our prayers, because these things got fast acting and acting. If you're out there playing and putting your hands to this stuff, no, they're not going to lay harm to you. Why would they? They got you in the snare. It's around your leg. They start reeling you in. No, they're not going to hit you over the head and then throw you in the ice chest. No. They're going to let you swim out there in the water. Let you believe you're free. Let you believe you're still in the sea, because you are still in the sea. You don't know that you have a hook through your gills. You don't know that you're on that stringer. So you got to be super duper careful, folks. And I ain't going to presume to tell nobody what to do. I'm telling you from my own experience, because I love you. I don't want to see this happen to nobody. Don't put your hands to necromancy. Don't consult with the dead. Don't be going to what was that old black woman's name? I think she was from like Philadelphia, but she was pretending to be from like South Africa or something. Miss Cleo was her name.
Miss Cleo.
Call me, darling. Call me, honey. Miss Cleo will tell you the answer. Miss Cleo will send you to hell. Quick, fast, and that's in a doggone hurry.
Call me now.
You be on that boat with old, what's his name? I'm a witch, but also believe in Jesus and God. I appreciate you putting the little g as God. Because, I mean, I believe in I not only believe, but He's my daddy. He's my father. That's the big G, capital G. And it's cool that you believe in Lord Jesus Christ. Witches can believe in Lord Jesus Christ. I know some that believe in Him, but you can't be a witch and belong to Him, is the thing about it. Which is fine. I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. I'm a scalp-taking savage for the Lord. But you're more than welcome here. I'm also an American. I'm not going to kick you out because you're a witch. I appreciate you being here. And I'd appreciate it even more if you hit like, subscribe, click that bell, and if you want to, if you can, make a contribution to the channel, because we're shadow banned. We tell too much truth over here, and I guess I'm too handsome or something. There's some ugly executive at YouTube. Every time I turn on that camera, he's like, that handsome dog. Shadow banned him.
He took my girlfriend back in middle school.
Man, I think I was still reading comic books and avoiding girls in middle school up until 8th grade. That ice cream social would unlock the door for me. Call me, darling. You remember that Miss Cleo chick? She was always, I mean, she gave me the heebie-jeebies. Straight up. Like, there was something about her.
Call me now.
You called me now. I tell you the future. I should have called her and said, you rank devil.
Man,
then I probably would have got an all-day ass whooping for calling 900
shop off Glenwood Avenue, Glenwood Road.
She had a shop, like a physical shop.
Yes, we still got one.
You enjoy my
right
content?
Now.
Thank you, Curly Crafter. You know, with you being a witch and from Texas, I should be completely disgusted, but you're all right for a witch and somebody from Texas. No, I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. Hey, well, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna have it be me soliciting the witch. I'm gonna tell her to, put some of that Put some of that old, whatchamacallit over
Fast
there on
Action
YouTube.
I know.
Fast Action Connection.
Don't say it.
I
Don't
better
say
not do
it.
that,
Don't
bro.
say
I
it,
get
don't
I get a
say
country
it.
ass whooping as soon as I hit end on this stream. I'm telling you, I'll be called up. Boy, what did you ask that lady to do? Oh, my bad, Daddy.
Don't do it.
Damn right you.
You know
No,
she'll
I'm not
do
gonna
it.
that.
You know she'll do it
Yep.
too. Put that
Plus,
fast
I
action
got the
action
I got the real juice, man. I got Raukaku Dash in power. I'll tell you what, Curly, if you like witchcraft, 'cause I know it probably does tangible things in reality for you. There's nothing like having the spirit of God in power. I mean, that's the spirit, that's the vibrational frequency that went to the void of nothingness when he said, "Let there be," that moved over the face of the deep. I mean, like, you have that living in you. I mean, no cauldrons, no black candles. You ain't got to even mess with them black cats. I'll tell you what, Curly, if you like black cats so much, I'm about to get me a Daisy Red Rider because I got them in herds up here. Bro, I'm serious. Like, I went outside the other night, smoked a cigarette on my own front porch, and I think I was on the phone with you.
Yeah.
There was like a herd of black cats, and then there's one that, bro.
That's why I'm laughing.
And most of these people know I'm not crazy. It literally came out of nowhere. It just looked like it stepped out of the ether. Like, okay. Looks like I'm going to be inside. Going back in.
You're like, what's up, Cam? You're like, going back in the house.
I was probably dog cussing them. I'm sick of seeing them, bro. Aren't black cats supposed to be like a rarity in a litter or something like that?
I don't know, but
I told you about the time that the
down
dude,
here.
like, I woke up late. I wake up at 4:30 every morning, no matter what time I go to bed. I woke up late this day, and I just get this crazy feeling. I already have to. That's hilarious. She said she already had to. She ain't in the market for no more. But I woke up late, which is abnormal for me. I wake up at 4:30, even if I just go back to bed, even if I go to sleep at 3. But I went to sleep at 8 and woke up at like 10:30. It was madness, and there was this overcast, like it had rained. But I look out and I just get this crazy feeling. I look out the window, and I shit you not, there's this dude staring up, and he didn't have any teeth. Not that that means anything, but he was riding a kid's bike, and he was pedaling it a whole lot slower. Like, he was pedaling so slow it seemed like he should have fell over. You know what I'm saying?
You sure you were here in Atlanta?
I may have been, bro. This was so weird. I may have stepped through some sort of a time. I mean, who knows? But I look out the window, and there's this guy, like, pedaling in slow motion, super slow motion, staring up at the sky with his eyes rolled back in his head. And there was a herd of cats, black cats at that. A herd of black cats out there in this overcast. And I remember, like, I think I called Merlin. I may have went back. Yeah, I called Merlin, and I told him about it. And I was like, bro, let's pray real quick. And I prayed, and I went back to bed. I hit that hard reset on my Nintendo. I had to blow in the cartridge that morning. I was like, no, not doing it. Not coming into agreement with this type of madness.
Curly Carter from Texas, please don't transcribe with that, man. Please don't. Just
not coming into agreement with this type of madness. Is that what I sound like?
No, we believe you. No.
You sound great. I sound like a
nerd. I'm echoing now. I always sound like a nerd. Until you see
no,
me.
that was me. I'm being very
like
unprofessional.
Rob the jewelry store and make me a grill. BDRP Supernatural.
You sound a little bit older than that buy me a grill stuff. It's rob the jewelry store and buy me a grill, my lord. I've been listening to a lot of Temptations, bro. I forgot how awesome the Temptations were. Like, they're a pretty legit band. Yes, and for folks listening, we got a pretty decent crowd. Everybody's like wide open, which is great. We are a shadow band. I'm not jiving you. For all who can, if you feel so compelled or moved, make a contribution to the channel. That'd be awesome, because it will help supplement what they're taking from me by the shadow band. And yeah, it's awesome for you to do for a channel. Support your local gunslinger. You can also support us by hitting like, hitting subscribe, sharing the video, and really hitting like. It does more than what you think. It forces our way back into that dragon we call the algorithm, or that algorithm we call the dragon. Tomato. And this, I mean, we have a great, since I began years ago, bro, like, at our base, we've always had a great subscribership. I mean, they've always been smart people that contribute smart stuff. You get some And what's crazy though is even with the rank devils and the people talking madness, like when I talk directly to them, some of them become my good friends.
Mm-hmm.
And be some of the most sincere people you ever want to meet. Started off talking more shit than a Chinese radio. I'm speaking into this little lavalier mic, I think it's called. Is that what
That thing what they have out on social media?
Yeah, I got me one of the Timu's the truth, bro.
Oh Lord. Timu.
For real, man. Timu, yes, sir. If you don't know, there's a free plug for Timu. Timu's legit. They got great deals, and I mean, I'm still pretty sure by the end of by the time it's all said and done, it's going to turn out it was some sort of a racket going on. Some warehouses that got robbed or something, accumulated stuff from them. But anyways, since that thing's dying, I want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out with us. It's been fun. It is Tika Palmer Skinner. I got to make her like the heroine of the story.
I got her
She's got to be like a
already
super
planned out. I got her character already planned. I'm gonna tell you about when y'all can learn.
All right, I'm excited because I kind of want to run stuff by you. Like she has to come in like when all hope is lost, and then just come in with 2 samurai swords, just like kicking the shit out of people.
Yeah, she coming out the muscle. They gonna know who she is.
Yeah, and then they'll be like, "Oh, it's Tika." Yeah, she'll have to be like the secret weapon that nobody expected to show up. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, contribute, hit like, subscribe, click the bell so you'll stay up on all the new content. Because believe it or not, I got a witness here. I've been making a lot of content. I just have OCD and I'm stuck like Chuck. But that's almost done too. And yeah, y'all are fantastic. I'm very well blessed to have the subscribership that I do. And I hope y'all have a great night. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Let's try it that way.
Rob the Jury Star, tell me, make me a grill.
No, I wish I had it uploaded. I'll play it. You know what I've been listening to here lately? Johnny Horton.
What?
He did that in 1814. We took a little trip along with Colonel Jackson down the mighty Mississippi. Bro, he has one called what's it called? Dadgummit. There's 2. Sink the Bismarck. We're talking about sinking that Nazi on their decks were guns as big as steers and shells as big as trees. Yeah, so you know what? I'm gonna play that song and get the monetization taken away for this episode because it's
Black Crude.
That was Tennessee Ernie Ford, I believe. I have an eclectic musical knowledge. And when I see Chopin spelled out, Chopin, I don't call him chopping. That's class. That's class, bro. That's class. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Remember Tombstone when Doc Holliday was playing some Chopin song? You're like, don't you know any good songs? Oh, Susanna. He's like, this is Frederick effing Chopin. He's like, I'm playing a classic. You want to? Oh, Susanna, you idiot. We should have a movie night again, bro.
I agree.
We should have a movie night where we play like, what time is it? No, it's too late to do it now. We were talking about those Bigfoot movies. We should watch watch the Bigfoot movie that I edited.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it got edited on top of it, like that brutal Bigfoot the Biscardi's made.
Mm-hmm.
That movie's hot garbage, bro. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
It's
trash.
No
It doesn't have a linear story. There was no.
I told you about.
It was crazy.
You see.
I don't want to watch that. DB Cooper versus
Bigfoot.
I don't want to see DB Cooper. That sounds like madness, bro.
It is.
DB Cooper versus Bigfoot.
It's hot.
Is it a sci-fi movie?
Yes, it is.
If it's not a sci-fi, it is. Piss on
sci-fi.
Damn them.
It's like
sci-fi makes their movies intentionally shitty. I think
they do. It's like a D class movie, or maybe an F. But it's.
And don't get me wrong. There's a lot of. So was Abominable. Abominable was a D class movie.
It was.
I mean, that movie was legit. Yeah, I mean that Bigfoot in that one was kind of accurate too. So more accurate than I've seen in any Bigfoot movie. At least with the mouth, because the mouth was as wide as his head.
You're like that DB Cooper movie, man. It's hilarious.
I ain't gonna like that shit, bro.
You will.
I'm going in with the intentions of not liking
You
it,
gonna got
even
your
if I
arms
do, bro.
folded, bottom lip poked out. I don't like this.
Yeah, I'm gonna begrudgingly watch it.
And you be
DB
like,
Cooper
oh, I like
versus
it.
Bigfoot. Are you kidding me? Sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
Some bull
DB Cooper
butter.
versus Bigfoot. Bull butter. Well, I guess, I mean, like, he would, I guess, I don't know. You've told me some stuff, and then I've heard some stuff in other places. Like,
But it's a children's
DB
version
Cooper hit
of
that
it, though.
ground, he turned into a water balloon, bro. DB Cooper, he went the way of all. He went across the river Styx.
That's
You know
all
what?
you heard when he hit the ground.
And I don't know how much truth there is to this, because I've only heard that the story exists somewhere. But there was a story that Bass Reeves got together with a retired Bat Masterson and Wyatt Earp. No, it was a young Bass Reeves, rather, with Bat Masterson, Wyatt Earp, Virgil Earp, and Doc Holliday. And I think there was one more present. And they came to the Oklahoma Territory because they were told that this they said it was a giant Indian from an unknown tribe or some weird stuff like that. But it was these Bigfoot. And you got these like Wild West heroes fighting Bigfoot. And I really hope it don't exist because I want to write it. It just sounds remarkable.
Write it.
I think I should. And if somebody comes with like, hey, that's my story, I'll say,
Prove it.
beat it, Creek. Prove it. Prove it, see? That's my story. Nah, I wrote it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. John Paul Jones. John Paul Jones is my new theme song, bro. And I found a remix rap version that's produced by the Baron. Believe it or not. So it was almost like it was divine almost. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this is meant to be the new BDRP anthem. And I'm meant to change it in such a way that they can't demonetize every show I put it on. Play. Oh well, I was trying to play him out with this awesome song, but oh well. Well, ladies and gents, even got a little bit of behind the scenes action because that's all we do is goof off behind the scenes.
Chris Beard said bad movies are the best.
Little
Oh, there we go.
Pointed to the sea. When I get to be a man, a fighting man I'll be. Leave my mark on the ocean and my name in history. Johnny Horton's a badass, bro. And he also has one, since you like him so much, I suggest you listen to I'm a One-Woman Man. It was, I think, early, what would you call it? Like some of that, what's that dude who was in Sling Blade? He redid Elvis' song Little Sister. Am I that country?
No, man, I'm just laughing.
You're over here like,
Sling
what the
Blade.
hell are you talking about?
No, I'm laughing. I'm thinking about Sling Blade.
Sling Blade's bro. That's a creepy movie in a way.
No, man, I'm
I'm your
laughing
boy.
because we had.
I ain't got no boy.
We had this. I just told out. We just chopping up right now. Down in Columbus, Georgia, we had this one sister. She sounded just like Sling Blade. Hey,
Oh,
brother,
no.
man. I'm like, whoa, hey.
Hey, them French fried potatoes.
Tell how she talk. Hey, what you doing there, boy? Whoa, who you talking to, bro? I mean, sis. Whoa,
The White
what's up,
Yoakum. Thank you, Wretched. The White Yoakum. It's like his type of what they call it, that almost rock type country music. Johnny Horton was doing that way back in the early 60s.
Billy Bob.
And he did make John Paul Jones. John Paul Jones is a badass, so. Billy Bob Thornton. That was Billy Bob Thornton's best movie, bro. He wrote and directed that movie. I'm going to tell you off air, but I want to say it on air, but I don't want him to hear it and sue me. You know he has some kinfolks right north of this town, don't you?
Mm-mm. We
I'll
just
tell
found
you.
out today. We just moved in a closed circle today with our family history. That was crazy.
Whose family history?
You know, we was talking about our family history earlier.
Oh, yeah. I told you about good old Kirby Smith.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that's you know, I told you that before. I mentioned it on air. Like I'm pretty sure. Like folks, Kirby Smith was the first colonel of the All-Black Regiment of Arkansas during the Civil War. And there's speaking of Tennessee Ernie Ford, he wrote a song about him. They said like when you heard the Arkansas Negroes coming, they thought it was Gabriel's horn because they killed the shit out of them plantation owners. And I mean, for his service in war, which was unusual for a black troop of any kind, he got 110 acres of fertile Rogers, Arkansas. It's Rogers, Arkansas, but it's Pine Bluff. It's a town outside of Pine Bluff. What do you call it? Suburb or something? But that 100, and somehow it went down to 100 acres. I don't know how that happened. Don't really care. But yeah, it's right on the Arkansas River. And like I said, hindsight's 2020, bro. When Mama would send us over there for the summers, and or she would go over there, we'd always go over there on her birthday. And I mean, I saw the shack she grew up in. My great granny, who raised her, because her mom died at 15, just like, you know, she passed away when I was 15. She grew up in this shack, and bro, it was like one giant room. And she was telling me how her brothers would sleep in these bunk beds, and the oldest one would sleep on this cot. And big, beautiful house that was built on the farm, like 2-story, like plantation home, and she refused to live in it. She lived in that shack and she was born in that shack, bro. And me being me, liking to talk to old folks, I would stay there in that shack with her. I think I've told this before, but I would stay in that shack with her on whenever my mom would leave, because you know I love going out to that farm. But I remember one night, and she always told me not to whistle and stuff, and I think I got my ass whooped one time.
Yeah,
whistling around.
Grandma got me.
I didn't understand it then. I do now, but I remember I heard and she said my full name. She said DeAndre, and I was like, "Great Granny, that's Mama." And I went to answer the door, and she's like, "Boy, don't you answer that door, or you don't say nothing to it. We don't talk to spirits." And when I heard her say that, bro, I feel it on my. If you could see my arms, it looks like a pork. When she said that, because she was 5'2", you know what I mean, very small, but she could swing that axe and she could shoot that 45.
And strong.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to get a whooping from her. Mama was 5'11", and I'd rather take one from her. Great granny chopped wood. You know what I'm saying? But I remember when she said that, like I felt this just scared, like carnal fear came over me. You know what I'm saying? And me being me, I asked 1,000 questions, to which no answer really kind of comforted me. She's like, "Boy, you rebuke that in the name of the Lord, and you leave it alone. Don't talk to him." I was like, "But great granny, that sounded like Mama." But anyways, of course, night comes, and I got a boo boo, and it's either go to the main house, which was way farther away than it's probably 60 yards away from that shack, or go to the outhouse, which was I think 35 yards away or something like that. And there was this one sad, pathetic light. I think it was a light bulb hanging on this string. And
we was just talking about
everything past that was death and darkness. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You brought that up. Bro, everything past that light was death and darkness. I remember looking out, opening the door to look outside, and I got that cold chill. And I brought out the boo-boo so bad. I tried to hold it. I was like, no, I'm going to hold it. I had no concept of time then. I was a young kid. I was like, I'm going to hold it. Mom will be here in the morning. I bet it's almost morning time right now. Hours later, I'm writhing around on the floor, like holding my guts. And finally, I was either I'm going to take a whooping because I'm going to use the bathroom on myself. I'm way too old for that. Or I'm going to run out there and I'm going to run like the wind. And you remember that old Flash show that used to come on? It was made, I think, by the same. It was made by Warner Brothers, and they tried to make it kind of look like Michael Keaton's Batman in a way. Bro, that's all I could think of. I got that flash in my mind and that music playing that sounded like the Batman theme, and I just took off, bolted, boom. And inside of there, my Uncle Joel put cause great granny was old school. She still had a kerosene lamp in there, and he was telling her she was going to catch herself or somebody else on fire with that thing. So he replaced it with one of those ones that's a regular light. And bro,
a little string light.
I was relieved in multiple ways inside that outhouse because I thought it was that kerosene lamp, and I mean that glow. It wouldn't have even lit up that whole outhouse. But man, now I remembered Uncle Joel put that light in there, and I was so happy. And I was thinking about just hanging out in there until the morning time, but it's an outhouse. So I put that old Flash TV show in my head again and took off running back towards that. I remember the run to the house was a whole lot further than the run to that outhouse. You know what I'm saying? Like,
always is.
Because the woods were pretty far away from like the house and the main house and that shack. But man, like all I could, my eyes, I could just, even though I couldn't see them, it was total blackness. I just knew something was in those woods, and you could hear the river faintly rolling by. I just knew something was gonna grab me, bro. I knew something was gonna come out of that darkness, or something was already there waiting for me. And no, I think about it. That was terrifying.
Okay, bro, let's go and stop right there. Let's go ahead and shock the whole world right now. All the people that's listening. I'm 50 years old. Well, I'll be 50 in December. And I remember the outhouse, the bucket in the house when it got too dark during them times. They had a bucket in the house. Brother,
yeah, that old pot.
Yeah, brother, tell them how old you are so they can shock the world.
I'm 39.
And they're gonna be like, what? That can't be true. Everybody had running water.
Yeah, I mean, bro, that was back in
then.
like the 90s, mid 90s, early 90s. I went there since I was a baby, so like from the 80s through the 90s, all the way up until she moved here. She got sick and had to move to Oklahoma. And man, when she moved to Oklahoma, my uncle, or it was my great uncle Joel, her son, he went through there and built all modern stuff. He lifted the house up, put it on the foundation. Because, bro, this was chamber pots. Yeah, great granny had a chamber pot. And
right,
Uncle Joel, since he refused to go to that house. And I was, thinking I was some sort of like hero or something. I was like, no, I'm going to stay with great granny because she's down there by herself. And I'm tough. You know what I'm saying? That and really those swans were back behind that house.
And that's where the good food got cooked there. Them good cat head biscuits and that old crisp bacon.
Yeah, man, she would cook bacon, and I mean, like they have their own. They have their own smokehouse. They butcher their own meat there, and I mean, it was awesome. Yep.
Get that.
And I mean, I learned like
and bacon.
She taught me how things grow, how to grow them, how to make that crop, make the next one grow. The only thing I hated about it is these swans that seemed like they were as big as I am, and they were of their father, the devil. They were evil, straight up. And there was two of them in particular. They seemed like they were like always walking around. Nah, where's that kid from Oklahoma? See, we're gonna peck his face off.
We're gonna chase him all around the yard. See, you running.
I'm serious, bro. These two, like there was a bunch of them, but these two seemed like they just had it out for me, bro. Like
they would chase you from sun up to sundown.
Man, my daddy was a super savage, so he told me, when when nobody's around, boy, you pick up one of them sticks and you bash one of them upside the head and go about your business. Don't be running from them things. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to pick up the stick and I'm going to do this. Bro, when them things start coming at me, like with its arms, I had that stick in my hand. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna cut this, I'm going to rip this thing's head off with the stick. It got about 10 feet from me. I was like, piss on this. I took off, bro. Mama. Those things were huge, man. If you're a 7-8-year-old kid, God almighty. Oh, some fresh okra. Are you kidding me?
And they were savages too, boy. They'd be on your bumper.
Yeah,
boy.
they were. I don't even know what their problem was, man. Like, I didn't do nothing to them.
Them was some rank devils, boy. Cause they'd be on your bumper.
I think they were of their father, the devil.
Because I done been chased by more of them than I care to remember.
Well, they just hate people.
I don't know, but they look at you, they put them wings out, then they'd be on your bumper, running, flapping and running. You be running and you stop.
Hey, that's another conspiracy theory, bro. Our swans, no, the devil can't create nothing, so. But they are a weird type of creature, and like they're huge. Or maybe my memory's not serving me right because I was a little kid. You know what I'm saying? It just seemed like they were as big as I am, and when they spread them wings out, it was over with.
Nah, brother.
I've seen them peck the shit out of one of my nephews. They jumped him, bro, because my nephews are just a little bit younger than me because my sisters are so much older than me. They like it was those two goons. They chased him and he tripped and fell and it was over with. And I think I got in trouble because I just sat there and watched.
Hey, I'm sorry. He did the white girl fall and we got your ass now. Come here, pet.
Yeah, exactly. He fainted like one of those old movie starlets. Just fainted and fell out. And them things, they bros like they were taking them off the set. They were jumping them into a gang or something. It was weird. And I think that's I was taking notes because I was still do what?
You probably sworn.
I was still the world's greatest detective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was taking mental notes on what they were doing to him, just in case I happened to fall when I was running from them.
Roll to the left, roll to the right.
And my sister's like, DeAndre, why didn't you tell us that they were messing with that? I was like, that's a good question.
You tell me. I didn't see.
Exit stage right. All right, folks. I've had enough fun with y'all. God bless y'all. This has been fun show.
Okra.
Let's check because it's usually somebody in the chat that checks. Let's look at the ratio.
Somebody said
people
fried
to likes.
Okra. Fried green tomatoes.
Thank you, Woodburger Farm, for your contribution to the channel, seeing as how you've been associated with it for so long. That's very much appreciated. Oh, wait a minute. You didn't contribute to the channel, Woodburger Farm. Feet to the fire. All right, I love y'all. Y'all have a great night. My son calls Canadian geese cobra chickens. It's a great name for them.
You ain't lying. Good God.
Yeah. Fried fatback. Richard 100 in his old country boy.
Crispy.
What's he on about?
Crispy fried fatback with some collard greens. Rob the jury store.
I wish I wasn't on this tablet, bro. I wish I was on my computer. I found the funniest thing I've ever done. It was something from the Colonel. I'll play it for you. All right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, y'all are fantastic. I'm D-Doss. And for Mr. Stephen Benjamin, God bless each and every last one of y'all. You have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow night. For real this time. First, a word from our sponsor, though.
Well, I sure would like a cigarette.
Well, why don't you bust out a Dawson?
A Dawson, that's right. Your favorite.
Dawson cigarettes. That's right, Dawson cigarettes. Nothing beats a Dawson except a possum.
I wish you would stop smoking the damn cigarettes.
Hey, your wife said stop smoking. Didn't you know these are health aware? The doctor prescribed me these. See, this is what happens when you let women poke and go to work and wear pants. They start going cuckoo-cuckoo.
That's right, Bon. You tell her. That's right, honey, you heard him. Hey, what's this?
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Let every soul be subject to a higher power, for there is no power but that of God!